Elon Musk buys Twitter, and the internet explodes. Is this a win for China? Welcome to China Uncensored, I'm Chris Chappell. Well, it's time to talk about everyone's favorite playboy billionaire. And no, I'm not talking about Bill Gates. He's in 9th place. I'm talking about Elon Musk.
The world's richest guy is set to buy one of the world's most influential social media companies.
The debate is raging over how Elon Musk taking over Twitter could change social media in America.
Elon Musk says he wants to make Twitter into a free speech platform. It's a really bizarre story. World's richest man spends $44 billion to buy world's largest dumpster fire. And as the world's largest dumpster fire, there were a lot of hot takes.
If you get invited to something where there are no rules, where there is total freedom for everybody, do you actually want to go to that party?
Heck yeah, that party sounds dope. No rules and total freedom? That means I can finally throw a Coke can into a trash bin meant for organic waste. You know, organic waste like food scraps, soiled paper, or anyone who actually enjoys using Twitter.
You own all of Twitter or Facebook or what have you. You don't have to explain yourself. You don't even have to be transparent. You could secretly ban one party's candidate or all of its candidates, all of its nominees, or you could just secretly turn down the reach of their stuff and turn up the reach of something else, and the rest of us might not even find out about it till after the election.
Wow, imagine that. Also, Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg is totally transparent. Actually, he is. He's so pale you can see right through him. Some called Musk's purchase of Twitter white power. Yes, Twitter is so much better when Saudi Arabian princes are a major shareholder. But one of the biggest attacks on Musk's purchase of Twitter revolves around China. Elon Musk, and in particular Tesla, have major vested interests in China. Could the Chinese Communist Party pressure Musk to influence Twitter? That was a big question going around Twitter this week. Yes, the dumpster fire was really on fire. China was even trending on Twitter. Yes, China was trending not for harvesting the organs of prisoners of conscience, but as a way to attack Elon Musk. Leading the charge is world's second richest man and 11th favorite billionaire playboy, Jeff Bezos. He tweeted, "Did the Chinese government just gain a bit of leverage over the town square?" Okay, first of all, Jeff Bezos criticizing someone's connections to China is even richer than he is. That theory is the only thing Jeff Bezos is selling that isn't made in China. His company is literally using Chinese suppliers with ties to forced labor. And Amazon has even partnered with a Chinese propaganda arm. In fact, Amazon has done so many shady things related to China, we did a whole episode on that. I'll put a link to it in the description below. And Jeff Bezos also owns the Washington Post. Could China pressure him to change the Washington Post's reporting? It's happened before. Bloomberg News has censored their own China coverage in the past. Bloomberg is, of course, owned by billionaire Michael Bloomberg. China's influence over American billionaires is a serious concern. The richest guy in the world owns Twitter and has business interests in China. The second richest guy owns the Washington Post and Amazon and has business interests in China. The fourth richest guy, Bill Gates, owns just about everything and has business interests in China. That's why the ladies love him. And billionaires Larry Page and Sergey Brin started Google, which now owns YouTube, and Google has business interests in China. China's connection to them and their impact on free speech should be a concern to everyone. And not just to brave men criticizing China on YouTube who get demonetized for it all the time. Anyway, the point is Elon Musk is not unique among billionaires who have vested interests in China. And Jeff Bezos singling out Musk is really the pot calling the kettle black. Although, maybe I shouldn't use that term since Elon Musk is African American. Anyway, Bezos might have some ulterior motive, even though Elon Musk does have some concerning ties to China, which I'll get into after this quick commercial break. Welcome back. So how connected is Elon Musk to China? And should we be concerned that might affect how he runs Twitter? I don't know how much higher the flames on this dumpster fire can burn. Well, let's have a look. In 2018, Elon Musk set up a factory in China. Then in 2020, he announced he was setting up a design center in China too. The Chinese Communist Party really wanted Musk and Tesla in China. Tesla was the first foreign car maker to open a wholly owned factory in China, where the government has showered the company with tax breaks and cheap loans. Tesla even opened a showroom in Xinjiang, you know, where all the genocide is happening. That's gotta make selling cars kind of difficult. Check this baby out. This engine is so quiet, you can hear the screams of Uyghurs being tortured miles away. Plus, the car has a whoopee cushion sound effect. Isn't that neat? China is now Tesla's second biggest market. And you know how everyone loves how environmentally friendly and green Teslas are? Well, a lot of Tesla's electric batteries are made by Chinese companies, which get their components from all sorts of shady places, like child mines in Africa. The only thing green about these Chinese battery companies is the money they invested to make people look the other way. And while Musk has championed himself as a renegade free speech advocate, he's also been a cheerleader for the Chinese Communist Party. On the 100-year anniversary of the founding of the Chinese Communist Party, he tweeted, "The economic prosperity that China has achieved is truly amazing, especially in infrastructure. I encourage people to visit and see for themselves." Although I wouldn't recommend it if you're criticizing China on YouTube. Then your visit becomes a permanent vacation. My favorite Chinese state-run media, the Global Times, loved Musk praising the CCP. But gosh, it'll be kind of hard to go and see China's prosperity ourselves since China is under COVID lockdowns. And speaking of, Musk was a vocal critic of US COVID policies. But when Shanghai authorities temporarily shut down Tesla's Gigafactory because of China's COVID policies, he was mum on that. Calling the US government fascist while in bed with the Chinese Communist Party is like the pot calling the kettle African American. Now, China has a long history of applying pressure to Western companies operating in China. China used economic blackmail on Zara, Marriott, Delta Airlines, and many others over Taiwan. And the Chinese Communist Party does care about Twitter. Even though the party banned it back in 2009, the Chinese Communist Party operates an army of Twitter bots to spread propaganda overseas. These Twitter bots are almost as fake as everyone on Facebook and Instagram pretending their lives are as perfect as they seem to be. The more inspirational quotes you post, the more depressed you are. Now, while Elon Musk has talked about the importance of free speech on Twitter, he's also talked about fighting bots like the kind the Chinese Communist Party uses. So the question is, will Tesla's interests in China affect how Musk operates Twitter? Well, despite a lot of the China controversy started in part by Jeff Bezos, Bezos himself doesn't seem to think so. Bezos later tweeted, "My own answer to this question is probably not. The more likely outcome in this regard is complexity in China for Tesla rather than censorship at Twitter. But my biggest question is, I have 65,000 followers on Twitter, and I have never been able to get verified with a blue check mark. Elon, baby, help a guy out." And we cannot make this show without your support. So as a thank you to everyone who contributes on either the crowdfunding platform Patreon or our exclusive social media community on Locals, we'll answer one of your questions. Today's question comes from Denise C. on Patreon. The CCP seems so conflicted. On the one hand, they want to weaken and destroy America, while simultaneously weakening and destroying their own country. Could Xi Jinping secretly be China's Gorbachev? You know, actually, the CCP is terrified of there being a Chinese Gorbachev. The party blames him for the Soviet Union's collapse. Xi Jinping has criticized Gorbachev multiple times. The question is Xi Jinping, whatever his goals are, going to bring down the CCP anyway? Now, I actually did a full episode about how one of the fears of the Jiang Zemin faction is that Xi Jinping is going to bring about the collapse of the CCP. I'll put a link to that episode below. But you gotta wonder, with the crazy lockdown in Shanghai, and now signs that Beijing could also be put under lockdown, is Xi Jinping going to destroy the Communist Party? Because the problems these lockdowns are going to cause are massive. Besides all the economic fallout, forcing people in top-tier cities like Shanghai to starve in their apartments, that's going to create a backlash. These are the elite of Chinese society. They're not used to being victims of the party. And now people in Shanghai have been playing the Les Mis classic, Do You Hear the People Sing? The same protest chant of the Hong Kong protests in 2019. That's not good for the Chinese Communist Party. Thanks for your question and your support, Denise. Be like Denise and support China Uncensored through the crowdfunding website Patreon. This is the main way we fund this show, because so much of our content gets demonetized by YouTube. And when you support us, you also get to ask us questions we might answer on the show. So check it out. Link is below. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. See you next time.